Hello everyone. Today's notes are going to be over two-step equations. So there are a couple of things that you need to know before we actually do two-step equations. First thing that I need you to write is inverse operations are pairs of operations that undo each other. Inverse operations are pairs of operations that undo each other. So the first pair is addition and subtraction. And then the second pair, multiplication and division. A two-step equation has two operations. So when you're solving a two-step equation, you must isolate the variable by getting the numbers on one side of the equation and the variable on the other side. You must isolate the variable by getting the numbers on one side of the equation and the variable on the other side of the equation. The last thing that you're going to write down before we start is when you're solving two-step equations, you do the order of operations in reverse. So when solving two-step equations, do the order of operations in reverse. Which means first you would do add or subtract, second you would do multiply or divide, third would be exponents, and fourth would be parentheses. there are two different ways that we can solve two-step equations, and we're going to go through how to do both. So the first one is the standard method. So we are going to use the equation 2x plus 3 equals 7. So it's a two-step equation. So our first step, since the original equation is adding 3, and we're trying to get our variable on one side and our numbers on the other, we are going to do the inverse operation and subtract 3 from both sides. So step 1 is, since the original equation is adding 3, we're going to do the inverse operation and subtract 3 from both sides. That's our first step. So the main thing to remember when you're solving two-step equations and you're using the standard method is whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So when I subtract 3 from 3 is 0, so those are going to cancel out. 7 minus 3 is 4, so now I have 2x equals 4. So now I'm going to step 2. When I have a number by a variable, like I have 2x, that means multiply. So since the opposite of multiply is divide, we're going to divide both sides by 2 because I'm trying to get my variable, which is x, by itself. So for step 2, you're writing, since the opposite of multiply is divide, we're going to divide both sides by 2. So again, whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. So whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. And x will equal 2. So these problems are great because you can always go back and check your answer by replacing the variable with your answer. And that way, when you go back and check, you know that you got your answer right. So you should never miss these, which is awesome. Another way to solve two-step equations is using the flowchart. So I'm going to draw the flowchart out. Okay, in the top circle, we are going to put our variable, our x, times 2, which is 2x, in our middle circle, plus 3. So in our last circle, we have 2x plus 3, which is our equation, equals 7. Now we're going to do the inverse, the opposite. So above I have plus 3, I'm going to subtract 3, so 7 minus 3 is 4. Above I have multiply by 2, so below I'm going to divide by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, so x equals 2. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I actually did it that fast. Our next example is 4x minus 2 is 18. For this example, because our equation is subtraction, we're going to do the inverse operation and we're going to add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to do this one a little bit different, only because I'm going to put a 0 there. So I'm going to have 4x minus 0 equals 20, and then right under it, I'm going to put 4x is equal to 20. Now remember, whatever I do to one side, I have to do the other. And I'm trying to get my variable, my letter, by itself, which means I'm going to have to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1x is the same as x. And 20 divided by 4 is 5. So x is equal to 5. And now we're going to do it with the flowchart. On the flowchart, basically the top 3 circles in the bottom right circle is just rewriting the equation out. So in the top left circle, you're going to write x times, on the line, 4, and in the middle circle, you're going to put 4x. Then you'll put minus 2, and then in the upper right box, you will have 4x minus 2. And it's going to equal 18. So because I have minus 2, below I'm going to add 2, so 18 plus 2 is 20. And above I'm multiplying 4, so below I will divide by 4. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. So x is equal to 5. Now you're going to go back and check your answer. You're going to rewrite your equation and then go back and replace your variable with your answer, which was 5. And that's what makes these problems awesome, because you can always make sure you got them correct. Okay guys, we're going to do one more example. It is 1/4 n minus 3 is equal to 25. I want you to just make a note for you to remember that when you see a fraction, it means divide. A fraction is division. So in my equation, I'm subtracting 3, which means I'm going to add 3. And whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So the inverse operation of division is multiplication. I need my variable to be by itself, and I need it to be 1 or n. So I'm going to multiply 1/4 by its opposite by 4 over 1, which means I will multiply 28 by 4. When you're doing a problem, a two-step equation problem that has a fraction and you're using the flow chart, it's done a little bit different. So I'm going to show you how it's done. You're still going to put n times 1/4. which is 1/4 in the middle circle. After the circle on the line, you're going to write -3. In the next circle, you're still going to put 1/4 in -3 equals, and in the bottom, you're going to write 25. So the opposite of -3 is +3. 25 plus 3 is 28. So in that circle, you're writing 28. The opposite of multiply by 1/4 is divide by 1/4. So I'm going to go underneath my flow chart and I'm going to do 28 divided by 1/4, and I'm actually going to do keep, change, flip. So we got the same answer as we did using the other method. We're going to still go and check our answer. So you checked it and you know you're right, which is perfect. And now I have a practice question for you guys to do. It is 1/2 A plus 9 is equal to -1. 1/2 A plus 9 is equal to -1. So I'll check in with you guys to see what answer you got on your practice question.